drive down to Guntur, which you can see kind of over on the right, close to the Bay of Bengal. Guntur, a nice sized city. I'm not sure how many people live there, but pretty good size. Hyderabad, if you call because your computer is not working, that's where your phone call will go. Hyderabad. There you go. They'll say, yes, Mr. Brio, I can help you. I say, I don't know. This is typical street scene. I'm just going to run through a couple of these very quickly. My wife corrected me last week, and I do appreciate the correction. I was kind of tired last week. I didn't want to give a bad impression of India when I said it's a dirty country. The people, they try to be clean. This is an interesting case here. Look at this lady sweeping the streets. They'll often sweep in the front of their house where it's dirt, and they're sweeping. It's the craziest thing. But they do want to try to keep their city as clean as they can. They got a different culture than we do. This is a typical scene too. People crowded on bicycles and motorcycles and cars. It's a very crowded country. What's that? There aren't too many fat people in India, by the way, although they have little paunches. They eat a lot of rice, and there's a lot of diabetes in India because rice is not good for that, and as you may know. And there's a lot of undiagnosed illnesses in India too. I just took that out the back of the window. You see some of the water buffalo. I call them cows. I was duly corrected. They're not cows. They're water buffalo. But they're all over. Animals wandering everywhere. Sheep, goats. That's why you don't drive at night. You never know what's out there. And if you want an experience of driving in India, you're driving along, no lines on the roads. No lines on the roads, and you're driving behind a bus, constant traffic. The guy pulls out, they always honk, 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 honk. The guy coming flashes his lights. He moves here, they move there, you go down the middle. I always sit in the back seat. I got farther to go before I hit the windshield. Nobody wears seatbelts except Americans. I got in the car this time again. I said, where's the seatbelt? They had to take the whole back seat apart. It took 5 minutes for the driver to find the seatbelt for me. He was wondering, this American? This was a night scene in Guntur. We went out one night to do a little shopping. It doesn't show up too well, but this is a main street. This gives you an idea. Cars, people walking down the street, motorcycles everywhere. But constant activity, like New York City. I don't think the city ever sleeps. People sleep on the streets, by the way. That's why you got to be careful when you drive. You never know. I think I mentioned last week we were driving along and all of a sudden thump thump. And I said, what was that? The driver said, that's just a dog. That's a stray. I thought, oh. Are you sure it wasn't a child?
Are those bleachers on the side there?
Bleachers? No, those are steps. Yes, those are steps. Bleachers. Yeah, they are bleachers. You watch
They're
them.
making the night crowds.
Well, they do actually. They got my name spelled wrong. Anyway, the little sign they put on there to welcome us. Dick Stavro, he's a pastor at St. James Lutheran Church. That's in St. Paul, Minnesota. They used to be part of the Wisconsin Synod. Actually, Wisconsin Synod founded this Moriah Christian School and also the Bible Faith Lutheran Church, as it's called. I'll talk about that in just a minute. They have since kind of not broken with the Wisconsin Synod, but they really aren't that involved with Wisconsin Synod anymore. St. James Lutheran Church did withdraw, actually was thrown out of the Wisconsin Synod because they supported women's suffrage. And the Wisconsin Synod, as you know, is dead against it. So they're an independent Lutheran congregation, very conservative though. The fellow on the left, he was a driver. Mrs. Dossery, the lady standing next to me, her children live here in the United States, in Plymouth. She runs this Christian school. Her husband founded the Bible Faith Lutheran Church back in the 60s, I believe it was, or early 70s. Her school, I think they have a couple hundred children in this orphanage Christian school. They have to be very careful not to be too outspoken about their Christianity or the government will shut it down. The Indian government is not, what should I say, not real friendly towards the Christian church. This is a Hindu country. You always got to remember that. The lady on the right is the principal of the orphanage era school. This is the view out the front porch of Mrs. Dossery's house where I stayed. That's a dirt road down there for what it's worth. That's where I saw her. Nice porch out there. This was a view out the other side of the front porch. I just took some of these so you can see. Very crowded city. This is out, let's see, that's another view out, I think the east side where I was. This was the view outside my bedroom window. That lady down there, you can't see her now, but every morning I was woken at 5 o'clock with this pounding noise. I think she was beating out her laundry or something. But they're up and at 'em, I'll tell you in the morning. There's me, so you know I was there. On the front porch of Mrs. Osprey's house, you can notice when you were shivering here at 20 below, there I was, 75 and 80 degrees. By the way, there was winter time there. You go in the summer, 130 degrees, that's what they told me, 120, 130 degrees, terribly hot. Okay? There's the kids. They had us, the first day we were there, the second day, I guess, gathered all the children for a little play they put on and sang some songs for us. I don't know, probably 150 kids there, so it's hard to tell. Some of these children are orphans. Some of them are sent out by their parents who can't take care of them to live at the orphanage during the school semester. They are taught, Mrs. Dossery kind of runs the school, but they are taught Luther's Catechism. They are taught Bible stories. They love to perform for us. But a bunch of cute little kids, and they were so happy to see Americans come. Whoops. That I don't want. This is Mrs. Dossery. She introduced the kids. Again, I just want to kind of, she's so excited about the kids. I might say this school needs a minimum of $2,000 a month to run. They're running on a shoestring all the time. I talked with Pastor Stabler from St. James, and he said if we could just get 4 or 5 congregations, they're building at $300 or $400 a month, this school could keep going. I'm going to suggest our own board that we might put that in our budget too as part of our mission budget, to send in at least $500 a month. I think we can afford it here in this congregation to keep her ministry going. It's a fantastic thing she does. All the kids lined up. This is on the back porch. All the kids were sitting over to the right of the screen. That's where they were all sitting. We were sitting over to the left. They all had to perform for us. They all had prepared for days on their little performances. They were so excited to share the gospel as they understand it to us. Of course, I didn't understand a word, but it was here. He has a little Christmas tree there, I think. I got that much. This little boy here had this little manger scene. You can see the kid behind has a little lamb. And he was telling us the Christmas story. And by the way, Christmas, I think, is a big deal there. They keep their decorations up a long time. They're still up. You'll see that in a minute. But he was so excited to share with us the birth of Jesus. He got the little star there on the manger scene. I think he may have made that himself, if I remember. By the way, you notice the fellow there, no shoes? That's something we Americans aren't used to. I had to buy a pair of sandals. Here's another group of little girls. They had to perform a little dance for us. And the music stopped every now and then. You can see on the right the wires kind of hanging around there to quit running once in a while. They just stop and wait. Then the music would start, and they start going again. They stop, and they start going again. India's an interesting country. The power went out every day for 2 or 3 hours, and you never knew when. And so I plugged my cell phone in to have it charged, and I have to stand there and watch it. Because you never knew. The power would go out, got to unplug it. Because when the power comes on, zap. And then one day, we came home. Their bathrooms aren't like ours. At least the places I stayed in with showers and separate showers. So just one room with the stool there, and then they've got the sink, and then they've got some faucets, and you take the hot and cold water and put it in a big giant bucket, then you've got a scooper thing to pour over yourself and take your bath that way, right? Well, sometimes the water is turned off. So one day we came home and there were 5 big buckets of water sitting there. I said, what are these doing here? And Mrs. Dossery said, well, they turned off the water because they got to replenish the supply. Okay. So there you go, ice cold water. That was interesting, shaving with cold water. This is that first night, first Sunday. I got there on Friday night. Let's see, Saturday we had off. And Sunday morning we drove out. The 2 of us were sent to different places. And I was sent out to a village close to the Bay of Bengal. This kind of river here in front of you runs right into the Bay of Bengal.